Every one of us, no matter who we are, has been through a lot because of COVID. Now that the pandemic might be coming to an end, I wanted to find out how some of the people I spoke to during the height of the crisis are doing today. When I first met Ruth Clausen at her cheese factory in Stratford, Ontario, her business was on the brink.
I mean, if we lose a business, then I'm sleeping on one of my kids' couches, and that would make me sad. It would disappoint me.
Almost a year later, Ruth's business is still struggling. And she tells me that being so close to bankruptcy for so long has taken its toll.
I'm weary. It's been a long haul. Sometimes I feel like I'm one of those punching dolls that you've just been knocked down so many times and gotten yourself back up. But I feel like I've sprung a leak, and it's harder and harder to get back up.
But Ruth knows the fight isn't over. She's thought a lot about the end of the pandemic and what it will mean for her and her business.
I think the end of the pandemic will be one of optimism and joy, and I think it's so exciting. What worries me is just that whether we'll have enough juice left to get started back up again. You know, it's sort of like helping a woman through labor and just saying, let's just get through the next contraction. Let's just take this one at a time. But then you're just so exhausted at the end.
Ruth knows that the money she receives from the government will dry up this fall. And she's not really sure if her business will survive after that.
Oh, God. I didn't know that you needed to be this resilient. And I guess I've learned that I have some resilience and some flexibility. But God, I wouldn't mind a year of not having to do that for a little while and just maybe making cheese. That would be so great. Yeah.
We've all lived through the unknowns of the pandemic. And even when it ends, some uncertainty will continue. That's also true here at this encampment in Alexandra Park in Toronto.
It's a home away from home.
When I first met Domenico Succida this past winter,
It's all completely sealed in.
he said there was actually an upside to the pandemic.
The public knows what's going on out here. Even people out of town have been coming to this park to bring clothing, supplies, etc., anything and everything that we need.
Half a year later, Domenico has become one of the most recognizable people here. Are you the mayor of Alexandra Park?
They call me the mayor, yeah. Yeah, that's what they call me.
Domenico has helped many people move into the park during the pandemic. The population here exploded as some shelters became COVID hotspots. Domenico can't hold back his anger about that.
You got 10,000 Canadians riding on the street starving. You should be ashamed of yourselves, the whole country.
During the pandemic, the city of Toronto has actually allowed people like Domenico to tent in the parks. But now the situation has changed. The city says that because they've offered people in encampments a place to live, they have the right to remove them. That's already happened in Toronto at least once recently, with police showing up on horseback.
Really? Horses to stomp on homeless people because they got nowhere to live. We all look out for each other. So when the police go after one group, they're going to be dealing with every person in this park. And they're going to realize that a lot of people care about each other out here.
It's no wonder that here, nobody's really looking forward to the end of the pandemic. That just means even more uncertainty. You know, what's your future, you think?
I don't know what my future is. I turn 51 tomorrow. So I'll make it to another birthday. My future's still up in the air. I don't know if I'm ever going to have my own place, whether I'm ever going to get off the street. I don't know what my future's coming. Every day I wake up and I'm not bleeding or having more stitches in me. I bless.
The pandemic has meant hardship for most of us. But for some, the restrictions and the lockdowns actually proved helpful.
COVID hits and the world stops, literally.
When I first met Correll Peters this past winter, she was upset that because of COVID, her parents wouldn't get to see her graduate. She wanted to honor the sacrifices they made so she could go to university.
You know, my parents are immigrants, and I'm the first in my family to pursue a university education, and so I was really looking forward to getting that diploma and my parents being there.
Today, Correll has graduated. She has a full-time job. But she says her biggest takeaway from the pandemic is how it changed her relationship with her parents.
I was home for months, and I spent a lot of time with my parents all day, every day, because I wasn't seeing anyone else. And so I guess it made me really value spending time with my mom and dad more than I did before.
Right.
I was grateful. You know, we had family members that died from COVID, and I was just really fortunate that the people in my immediate life were all safe.
Becoming closer during the pandemic meant that after she graduated, Corell's mom told her something she never had before.
She told me that she was proud of me for graduating, and like getting a job. And in like our culture, that's not something that's expressed really often. Like, I know she is, but it's not something she verbally expresses. I think that turnaround moment for her was kind of, okay, I came to this country, and even for my dad as well, but maybe a bit more for her. Her struggle was worth it to see me succeed.
So pretty.
Corell will have something good to remember when this is all over. Her life changed, but it didn't stop.
I guess in the end, the pandemic has taught me to appreciate life more. And I guess part of that comes with age, but I think the pandemic kind of sped that up a bit. Almost like it made me grow up a bit faster.
Hopefully the things we've learned during the pandemic can help us when it's over. Appreciating those around us, fighting back, and maybe above all else, figuring out how to live with uncertainty. Nick Purdon, CBC News, Toronto.